Hey guys, it's Cherise. So here I am doing what I swore I'd never do, and that is trying to teach online. I miss my people. I miss my kids being in my room. You know that. So, our two main vocabularies for this, for printmaking, are relief, ink on top, carving away area not to be printed, and taglio, ink in incised lines. In. There's your hint for the test. It's in there. Here is me working in the printmaking studio. On the upper left is me rolling out the ink. On the bottom left are my prints I was making on paper bags because I was broke. On the right is my rolled out litho, um, sorry, not litho, linoleum. And you would put the paper on and then you roll it through that heavy, heavy metal roller there. And so it squishes it and gets the ink on there. So with printmaking, multiples can be made so more people could start affording art. When you're looking at something and you want to know if it's printmaking, there's a few ways, but two distinctive ways. One, if you see AP on the bottom, it means it's artist proof. Usually there's only one of those. Then you'll see a fraction. It could be 1 of 10 or 25 of 200 or whatever. You keep them in order because when you get to the 10 of 10, let's say, it starts to kind of break down and because you're running it through that heavy, heavy press, no matter what form of printmaking you're using, you're going to start losing information. There's methods of printmaking, relief, intaglio, lithography, and screen printing. Screen printing, so we've got shirts that have that. Here's Elizabeth Catlett's sharecropper. She carved away anything not to be printed. So this is a relief. On the test, ink on top. Relief printmaking. You carve away what's not to be printed. So like a rubber stamp, as you can see, Master Chang on the left, he carved that stamp out, he inked it, and on the right is the image. Milnold carved out wood and then ran this on a press, and this was the image. Here's a wood block. On the left is the carved wood. On the right is the finished product print. Here is a poster that was for a play, and Van Gogh saw it and was inspired, and so he made this. Here you see a piece made in 1795, and Mary Cassatt was influenced and did this. Again, in this, all of the white areas are carved away. It's a relief. Many students see this in the book and say, what's the big deal? Well, one, this is 8 by 4 inches. It's a wood engraving. So every one of those lines he hand cut, and to make that look like a grayscale with only using black ink. So he really had the masterful, and skill of doing this. Here's using multicolors, which is not easy in relief. And this shows the difference, but I think it's a ridiculous image for me to use. So let's just move on. All right, intaglio. On the test, the ink is in the incised lines. If you look at that bottom one, the dry point, that one is the one that once you run it through the press, it really breaks down easily. Intaglio, the ink is in there. Much different from relief where the ink is on top. So here are some of the different ways you can do intaglio. And here are some images. Now this one you'll see is dry point fourth state, which means it's been run through 4 times. Again, that dry point is going to start to break down and it's going to start to not be as crisp and hold the ink the way the first one did. Mary Cassatt again. Tiepolo again. Each one of these little dots is etched. Rembrandt. Kathy Kollwitz lost a child in World War I and a grandchild in World War II. I just like this image, so I put it in there. So if we really look at this, I talked about in drawing the tooth or roughness of the paper. So around the edges, you can see that kind of rough paper. Then you see the rectangle that's smooth in the going in a little bit. And then you see the actual design. So this is an inkless intaglio. And it helps to me show you that when you run the plate through, that metal plate smooths out that rough paper, number one, and the press pushes that paper in those incise lines. So normally that kind of geometric pattern we see right there, that design, if it had ink, we would see it differently. But this, I think, is a really beautiful example of showing you. So before there was photography in newspapers, you would get a printmaker to do it. These are for a newspaper. This, I think, is hilarious because it makes fun of the Nazis. That's just my personal opinion. Yeah. So screen print, like I said, we all have a shirt, something like it. Andy Warhol took and made these and screen printed all these boxes to talk about popular culture, aka pop art, which you'll get into later. This is propaganda at its heart. This is called Accident, and I certainly hope it was. But maybe y'all love it. I don't judge, you know that. So here's more screen print. And monotype. Now you can't make more than one of these. And you have to work backwards. So think of the purple tail being painted first, and then the gold horse, and then the gray background. And it's run through one time, and that's it. So we'll see how this turns out, guys. I'm going to just keep rolling with the lectures. And namaste.